Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're focusing on a food that is, well, it's less a fruit and more of a diplomatic incident waiting to happen. We are talking about the durian.
Ah, yes.
I mean, think about this for a second. There is no other piece of produce on the entire planet that is routinely banned from public transit.
From hotels, airports.
Exactly. From luxury hotels, from the baggage claim at major airports. The intensity of this one fruit is so profound that we've had to draw legal lines in the sand.
Just to keep it out of shared spaces, it's truly remarkable, isn't it? The sheer polarization.
It really is.
To its fans, it's this creamy, complex, buttery revelation. It's heaven.
Right.
And to its detractors, it is nothing short of a biological weapon. People say it smells like paint thinner, rotten onions, stale gym socks.
That's a pretty wide spectrum.
Right.
And our mission today is to get past that smell, really, and understand why this one fruit commands such unwavering devotion and, frankly, astronomical prices.
We're doing a deep dive into the legend, the complex chemistry, and the cultural status of the undisputed king of fruits.
So what are we working with?
Our sources give us a really comprehensive look. We're going to explore everything from how it developed that intimidating natural armor to the precise science behind the aroma.
The one that launched 1,000 bands?
That's the one. And also why it holds such a profound, almost mystical place in Southeast Asian culture.
Okay, let's unpack this. I think we have to start with where this armored celebrity actually comes from.
Right. So we begin the story deep in the equatorial rainforests of Southeast Asia.
Okay.
While it's cultivated pretty widely now, the durian's real geographic roots are concentrated in the island nations of Borneo and Sumatra.
So that's its home turf.
That's where it was first identified, and it's where the greatest genetic diversity still exists today.
And the physical characteristics are, they're not subtle. You look at a durian and you immediately understand that this is a fruit that demands respect.
It does. It's covered head to toe in these large, dense spikes. It's intense.
Its identity is, it's literally spelled out in its name. Duri is the Malay word for spike or thorn.
Ah.
So it gives you this incredibly intimidating, almost medieval exterior. People say when they fall from the trees, and they do, you definitely want to be nowhere near it.
It looks less like food and more like a weapon.
A heavy, spiky mace, exactly.
So what does all that armor protect? Because that level of defense suggests something incredibly precious inside.
It protects the interior pulp, which is, and this isn't an exaggeration, arguably the most highly prized and expensive single component in the entire fruit kingdom.
Oh, wow.
We are specifically talking about the aril. That's the edible, creamy layer that surrounds each seed.
Okay.
And here's a really important detail. Aril makes up less than a quarter of the total fruit weight.
Wait, so you're telling me you're paying these huge prices for only 25% of the total mass?
Or less, precisely. That scarcity immediately ramps up the cost pressure. You're paying a huge premium for a very small, dense, energy-rich part of the fruit. That explains so much about its history.
It does. I mean, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's why the durian story is so different from, say, an orange or a banana.
How so?
Well, those fruits were spread rapidly by traders and explorers across continents. The durian, on the other hand, was initially a hyperlocal, guarded resource. It wasn't globally traded.
So it was kept close.
It was shared within elite, local communities. It was a status symbol.
Not just food, then, but a sign of influence or wealth. Did the sources give any sense of how that status was displayed?
Absolutely. The best varieties were often reserved for royalty or high-status families. They were even used as diplomatic gifts between villages.
A pungent form of currency.
Exactly. The ability to own or even just share a high-quality durian was an immediate sign of prestige.
Which makes the smell all the more contradictory. How does something that smells so, well, overwhelmingly bad become a symbol of wealth?
That's the ultimate paradox.
So let's get into it. The elephant in the room. The
Sure.
smell. What is happening scientifically to create an odor so disruptive it requires a legal ban?
The science reveals the true complexity here. This aroma is so potent because it's not just one or two things hitting your nose. It is an extraordinarily intricate chemical cocktail.
A cocktail.
Researchers have identified over 50 different volatile organic compounds in the durian.
50 separate chemical signals all at once. That number alone Helps me understand why people describe the smell so differently. It's not one smell,
It's a full, disorganized symphony, is a perfect way to put it. The compounds are sending these wildly conflicting signals to your brain.
which is why the experience is so personal.
Exactly. So let's break down the main chemical groups. On the immediately repulsive side, you have the sulfur compounds and the thiols.
Okay, I think I can guess what those smell like.
Right. These are the molecules that give you those highly pungent sulfuric notes, the ones that suggest rotten onions, old cabbage, and yeah, rotten eggs. These are your immediate primal get away from me factors.
And those are the compounds that trigger the bands, right? If you open one in an enclosed space.
They're highly volatile and they linger. But here's the trick. That powerful initial blast is then immediately counteracted by another set of compounds,
Which are?
the esters.
And the esters provide the complexity, the redeeming qualities.
They do. The esters are responsible for the appealing, sweet, and fruity notes. They're the same chemical group you find in things like pineapple and ripe berries.
So that's where the sweet caramel undertones come from.
That's right. And our sources mention yet another layer compounds that mimic roasted nuts.
So you have savory sulfur, sweet fruit, and rich nuttiness all crashing into each other at the same time. No wonder it's overwhelming.
It's chemically exhausting. And here's the truly incredible part. This complex, polarizing odor is not an accident.
What do you mean?
It is a highly evolved, intentional evolutionary strategy.
Okay, explain that. Why would a fruit evolve to repel humans but attract other creatures?
Well, the durian needs its seeds dispersed, and it's a heavy fruit with big seeds. The smell is its SOS flare shot out into the jungle.
It's an advertisement.
A very loud one. It needs to be potent enough to attract very large, powerful animals. We're talking orangutans, monkeys, even elephants, that are strong enough to break it open and carry those seeds far away.
So the intensity ensures that whatever animal finds it, it will be noticed.
And consumed. It's a brilliant survival strategy.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Once you commit, once you get past that pungent, thorny barrier, what is the payoff? What is the texture and taste that inspires this level of devotion?
The texture is the first thing that surprises people. It's completely unlike a standard fibrous fruit.
Right.
It's consistently described as ultra creamy. Imagine something like a thick, aged custard or maybe a firm, unsalted butter.
That sounds incredibly rich.
It is. It's dense and luxurious, and it just melts on the tongue.
So you have this rich, almost fatty texture. But the flavor is the true paradox, isn't it? It blends elements we normally keep very separate in Western food.
That's right. The taste is a rich blend of really unexpected flavors. On the savory side, people often report a pronounced taste of garlic or caramelized onion or even chives.
A savory foundation.
A definite, almost pungent savory foundation. But then...
It's supporting dessert-level sweetness.
Absolutely. That's where the high notes kick in. You get sweet almond, intense sherry wine, heavy brown sugar, maybe some vanilla. It is savory, sweet, and alcoholic all in one bite.
And that collision, that profound blend of savory and sweet, that has to be the core of its addictive quality. We're talking about the ultimate expression of umami in a fruit.
We are. Umami, that fifth taste, you usually associate it with aged cheese or mushrooms or meat broth, right?
Sure.
But here, the durian delivers it by perfectly balancing its natural savory components, those sulfuric elements, with extreme sweetness. It hits every part of your palate at once.
So it feels more like eating a complex dish than just a piece of fruit.
Exactly. It gives you a sense of profound satisfaction that you just can't get from a standard sweet fruit.
And if we connect that back to the bigger picture, it really explains why the durian is so central to cultural life in Southeast Asia.
It's a major event. It's not just another food. The harvest season is celebrated like a regional festival. Prices for specific strains are debated fiercely in markets across Thailand, Malaysia.
It creates its own economy, its own subculture.
A huge source of regional pride and, a pungent test of culinary courage for every tourist.
And it's versatile too, right?
Surprisingly so. We think of eating it fresh, but it's used extensively in traditional sweets, rich ice creams, and even savory dishes like tempoyak.
What's that?
It's a fermented durian paste. It's used as a sample or a cooking ingredient. It's very intense.
And the devotion is so deep that connoisseurs aren't just looking for a durian. They're hunting for specific prized varieties.
Like the world of fine wine or rare cigars, this is where those astronomical prices really come in.
Okay, so give us some specifics. What kind of cost and pedigree are we talking about?
This is where you see the real value based on quality and rarity. In Malaysia, the Musang King variety, or D197, is the current champion.
Musang King, I've heard of that one.
It often sells for $20 to $50 per fruit, sometimes more.
For one fruit.
For one fruit. And it's renowned for its specific texture. It's firmer than most, and its flavor profile that moves from bitter caramel to sweet cream. And crucially, it has a much smaller, flatter seed.
Meaning more edible pulp per fruit. So the price isn't just for flavor, it's a calculation of yield.
Exactly. It's efficiency and luxury. Then you have other famous Malaysian strains like the D24, which is known for its deep, buttery profile.
And that's different from what you'd find in Thailand.
Very different. In Thailand, the favorite is often the Munthong variety.
Which means?
Golden Pillow. It's generally less pungent, has a milder flavor, and a much firmer texture than the creamy Malaysian types. It's often the entry point for Westerners.
Because the smell is more muted.
Right. It's a bit less of a shock to the system.
Right. It's a bit less of a shock to the system. The differences are subtle to an outsider, but clearly life or death for the true believers. So what does this all mean? The durian forces a choice. You have to decide if you're willing to endure the chemical warfare on the outside for the reward within.
We've really traced this remarkable journey, haven't we? From its spiky armor in the Bornean rainforest through that intense 50-compound chemistry.
And then landing on that profoundly unique, umami-rich flavor that makes it so addictive.
The whole narrative is that the king of fruits is defined by its difficulty.
It's difficult to open, difficult to transport, difficult to smell.
It is. And this raises an important question for you, the listener. We've established that the durian's king status is tied to its controversy and its difficulty. It's not easy to consume, it requires commitment, and often high cost.
So the question is,
what other foods in the world achieve their legendary devoted cultural status precisely because they challenge us? Whether it's through high price, or dangerous preparation, or just intense polarization.
That's a wonderful thought to end on. The durian demands that we engage with our food on a challenging level.
It forces you to get past that initial barrier.
To really appreciate the complexity inside. It reminds us that often the most rewarding experiences, culinary or otherwise, are the ones that demand we rethink our assumptions. Is the king worth the fight? We encourage you to consider your own stance on challenging complex flavors.